Hi guys, is AI dead? Here's something that's worth considering. I mean, I hate AI, I hate it used for doing creativity. It's something that's going to be a blight on our existence. I can see it being used to devalue us as writers. People, I mean, we see it all the time on forums. I've got this idea for a story. I'm willing to give you 50%. So this person has an idea in the shower and thinks, I'll get a screenwriter to spend the next 12 months of their life working hard and I'll give them half. Imagine being able to just go to AI and say, give me 100 ideas, and then just putting them out on the internet saying, hey, anyone willing to write these, I'll give you half. It is the worst idea. But I'm going to link a video down below from the Legal, I think is the name of the channel. They talk about Disney suing Midjourney for infringement on generative AI images from Marvel, from The Simpsons, from all those sorts of things, saying that if you put a prompt in, and I think they said yellow cartoon characters from the 90s, or just produced Simpsons characters. So it is taking copyrighted material, breaking it up, and explains the whole process and producing things which infringe on copyright. Below, you can cut and paste. I've never tested this in court, but it's a little legal paragraph that I'm putting on in the footer of emails. I'm putting it in the last page after a screenplay is finished on a second page, right at the bottom. At the moment, you cannot reserve your right to not have your material used for training, but hopefully that is one thing they can do. Not say it's going to be an infringement of copyright, but one of the rights a creator can have is to refuse to allow their work to be used for training. So that's hopefully, I'm hoping that copyright law will move in that direction. There'll be an amendment to the copyright law. So I have put a small sentence, and it's downloadable below, just cut and paste, that says the author, the rights owner, reserves the right to refuse to have this work in part or in whole used in training any sort of, and it goes to all the sort of generative AIs you can have. So I'm reserving the right to not have that done. That way, if it is used in the future and we can prove that it's used, I can say, I didn't grant you that right, and then take some sort of action against them. Download below. It's for you. And talking of that, 20% off writerduet for you. I make nothing. That's a gift from writerduet to you. I just thought I'd throw that in now. So what does this mean, this Midjourney, this court case? It means that AI will not be in the future if Disney is successful, or they'll have to think twice, or they'll have to put some prompt in that says to the user, we cannot use copyrighted material to generate this. Do you still want me to go forward? If they can do it for images, they can do it for the written word. They could do it for a song. They could do it for everything. So it's going to change the landscape of AI. AI is a powerful, powerful tool. And if you use it and train it on your own material, so if you went and got all the public domain screenplays and used it to train AI on that and then said, write me something that's a screenplay based on, it's working purely on public domain works, which means AI companies may have to say, well, if it is still in copyright, we can't use it to train. And I'm down for that. I'm 100% okay with that. The reason I don't like AI is because it takes copyrighted work, makes a derivative work, learnt from that, and gives it to someone, and they charge people for that service. So, and none of that money's flowing back that way. Back to the copyright owners. That's the problem I have. They're using a derivative work. Some people, I'm on another podcast called The Bunker Project. I'll put an image up here. It's really good. We talk about AI every week. And Bob, who's been in advertising, he's a creative man himself. He says, well, that's how we learn. We go to college and we get taught things. We read all these great works. We see great images, and we come back and we create something ourselves. The AI is just like us. The thing I disagree with Bob about is that it doesn't have my life. It doesn't have my childhood drama. It doesn't have my brain injury. It doesn't have my dyslexia. It doesn't struggle learning to read like I did. It doesn't have that experience to bring into the art that I'm creating. It purely has to stay within that garden wall. It can only use the stuff that's there and copy it. It can only blend those colors. It cannot make a new color. A new color could be invented by bringing something in beyond the range of our rods and cones in our eyes. It's out here in a spectrum we can't see, but some people can, and those people experience a new colour. So that's something that didn't exist before in that colour, in those paints, in that thing. Something new added in by somebody else. That's learnt, that's education, that's new work because new experience is brought to it. Not just mixing the existing and stealing it. That's my objection. There is no new human experience being brought to it. We're not pushing humanity further down the way by taking existing work and adding new human experiences to it. Quick jump in. Thank you to everyone who's been doing this. All the likes, the shares, the comments, it all drives along. It pushes the channel out. If you could help out by just commenting, liking, thumbs up, it's all fantastic. And over on Amazon, there is Tools Not Rules. As I said before, it's not for beginners. It is, if you already know your craft a bit, this is ways that you can unlock what's in your brain, things that can solve problems for you. It helps you build a world. It helps you understand a character. It helps you understand emotions, the relationship between the protagonist and antagonist, all that. And then logline. A lot of people write loglines that are just taglines, like "in space, no one can hear you scream." They write these really catchy advertising things because that's what they're exposed to on all the movie posters. That's what they think a logline is. A logline, as explained in the book, was originally how they used to catalogue screenplays in their library. So it had to be a summary of the film, not something catchy. So it had to be a sand and sandals sword epic about Ben-Hur Judah. So people go, oh, okay, it's about the character Ben-Hur Judah, and it's one of those sorts of films. Cool, understand. And then they got a bit more elaborate. You know, his struggle against this, he's that and that. And they had to keep it though, 60 or so characters, nice and short, 60 words, really short, so I could fit in the log. That's those two books. One more thing to consider as we go on. Generative AI is only going to get better and it will solve problems. And it's fantastic in the data world, which is where I started out. I started out working in data. And it's fantastic for that. Scan through those million records and find these patterns. You can teach it semantically. If you want to learn a little bit of large language models, learn a bit of Python and go off and do an LTK. There's some downloadable stuff for how to see whether a tweet is positive, negative or neutral, how to classify films. There's all these free things you can download, stick it in that Python library, run it, and you'll learn how large language models work. And then you'll see that it can't go outside what you've taught it. We had it doing some stuff back when I was in the data days. We had it doing some stuff and it was getting the answer wrong, but it was only getting it wrong by a little bit over here. All we had to do was reteach it. But a human could have seen that that was instantly wrong because a human has real intelligence. It can bring its own experience in. And since that new experience can be brought in, that is something new. If you can't bring in the new experience, you're only using what was there, and that's copyright infringement, in my eyes. Remember, down below, cut and paste out that bit of phrase that may save your butt one day. And until next time, guys, as I say, keep writing. Bye.